in the heart of a quiet suburban neighborhood in Seattle, where the rain often paints a gloomy picture. A remarkable story of resilience and hope unfolds in the unexpected gift. Sam, a 55-year-old tech worker, lives a solitary life, trapped in the shadows of grief since the loss of his beloved wife. Everything changes one fateful evening when he discovers Mia, a 16-year-old runaway shivering on his doorstep. With nowhere to go and a heart full of scars from a tumultuous foster care system, Mia seeks solace in Sam's home, sparking an unexpected bond that transforms their lives forever. Join Sam and Mia as they navigate their pasts, confront their fears, and ultimately find a family in each other. Their journey teaches us that healing often comes from the unlikeliest of places, and that love can blossom even in the darkest of times. Hi, I'm Jen. I invite you to experience their inspiring journey of connection and second chances. A tale that reminds us that it's never too late to open our hearts to the unexpected gifts life has to offer. The unexpected gift. In a quiet suburban neighborhood of Seattle, the winter air was crisp, and the sky was a heavy gray, signaling an approaching storm. Sam, a 55-year-old widower, sat alone in his small living room, the flickering light of his laptop casting shadows on the walls. 2 years had passed since he lost his wife, and in that time, his life had settled into a monotonous routine. The warmth of love had faded, leaving behind a shell of a man who merely existed rather than lived. Sam worked remotely as a tech consultant, but work had lost its luster. Each day felt like an echo of the last, and he often found himself staring out the window, lost in memories of his wife, Margaret. She used to love this time of year, with the holiday decorations twinkling against the winter nights. Now, it all felt meaningless. He had no children to fill the void, and his social life had dwindled to brief exchanges with neighbors. As the storm intensified, the wind howled outside, rattling the window panes. Sam glanced at the clock and decided to check on Mrs. Thompson, his elderly neighbor who lived alone. She was known for her delightful cookies and warm smile, but recently, she had been less active, and he worried about her. Gathering his courage, he put on his coat and stepped into the storm. The moment he opened his front door, the full force of the storm hit him. Rain poured down in sheets, and gusts of wind threatened to knock him off balance. He hurried along the street, his mind racing with thoughts of Mrs. Thompson. As he approached her house, he noticed her porch light flickering. He knocked on the door, but there was no answer. He hesitated, debating whether to try again or go back home. Just then, he heard a faint cry over the wind. Turning, he squinted through the rain and spotted a figure huddled in the shadows of the porch. As he moved closer, his heart sank. It was a young girl, no more than 16, shivering uncontrollably. Her long, wavy brown hair drenched and matted to her face. She wore a worn gray hoodie, and her jeans were soaked and torn. "Hey, are you okay?" Sam shouted, his voice barely cutting through the storm. The girl looked up, her big expressive eyes reflecting both fear and vulnerability. I'm lost. I don't have anywhere to go," she stammered, her voice shaking. Once inside, Sam led her to the living room, where he flicked on the lamp, illuminating the space. "Come inside," Sam urged, stepping aside to let her into his home. He quickly shut the door against the storm, the warm air of his house enveloping them both. The girl looked around, taking in her surroundings with a mix of curiosity and caution. Sam quickly fetched a blanket from the couch and draped it over her shoulders. "What's your name?" he asked, trying to break the ice. "Mia," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I ran away. I didn't mean to end up here. I just needed to get away." "Get away from what?" Sam inquired, his concern deepening. Mia hesitated, her eyes welling up with tears. "My parents, they don't understand me. I felt trapped. So, I thought if I could just leave for a while, maybe they'd see how serious I am about needing space. But then I got lost, and the storm hit." Sam felt a pang of empathy. He could see the pain behind her eyes and the struggle that lay beneath her words. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Mia. You're safe here for now. Let's figure this out together." As the storm raged outside, Sam made them both some hot chocolate. They sat in the living room, a growing warmth between them. Yet an underlying tension lingered. Sam couldn't help but feel a strange mix of protectiveness and concern for this lost girl. She was a reminder of his own past, of his late wife's compassion for others, "Mia, you can't just run away from your problems," he gently reminded her. "Running only makes things harder. You should talk to your parents." "But they don't listen. They never have," she exclaimed, frustration bubbling to the surface. "They don't care about how I feel. I just wanted to escape." The conflict within Mia was palpable. She was torn between wanting to connect with her family and feeling unheard. Sam recognized this struggle. It was the same feeling that had haunted him since losing Margaret. He wanted to help her, but he didn't know how to reach the deep-seated pain she felt. "You're young, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed," he said softly. "But there are always better ways to handle things. Maybe I can help you find a way to talk to them." Mia looked at him, her expression shifting from anger to uncertainty. "You don't even know me. Why do you care?" Sam sighed, realizing that she had a point. "I've lost someone dear to me, and I know how important it is to have someone to talk to. Sometimes sharing your feelings can make a world of difference." As the storm began to ease outside, Mia pondered his words, the tension slowly dissolving between them. They shared stories, laughter, and even tears, and in that brief moment of vulnerability, a bond began to form. Sam felt a spark of purpose returning to his life, and Mia found a flicker of hope amidst her turmoil. Little did they know that this unexpected encounter would lead them both down a path of healing and rediscovery, changing their lives in ways they could never have imagined. With the storm gradually subsiding, Sam and Mia found themselves in a fragile bubble of warmth in his small living room. The only light came from a single flickering candle, casting soft shadows on the walls. Sam settled into the couch opposite Mia, who was still wrapped in the blanket, her eyes darting around as if she was taking in every detail of her surroundings. "Thank you for letting me in," Mia said, her voice barely above a whisper. She tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear, revealing a hint of vulnerability beneath her tough exterior. "Of course," Sam replied, trying to convey a sense of comfort. "You're safe here. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to, but if you'd like to share, I'm here to listen." Mia hesitated, glancing down at her hands, which fidgeted nervously in her lap. I'm not sure where to start," she admitted, her brow furrowing in thought. "I've never really told anyone my story before." Sam leaned forward, intrigued. "Take your time. I'm not going anywhere." After a long pause, Mia finally took a deep breath. "I grew up in the foster system. My mom, she couldn't take care of me, so I was placed in different homes. I've been shuffled around since I was 8. Her voice quivered slightly, but she continued. "Some families were nice, but most didn't really want me. I always felt like I was just a burden, like they were just waiting for the next kid to come along." Sam's heart ached as he listened. Her words echoed the pain of feeling unwanted, a feeling he recognized all too well. "That sounds incredibly hard," he said softly. "How did that make you feel?" Mia looked up, her expressive eyes filled with tears. "Lonely. No one ever really wanted to keep me. I was just another kid to pass through their lives. I never felt like I belonged anywhere. I just wanted a family, someone who cared about me for who I am, not just as someone to look after." Sam swallowed hard, remembering the loneliness that had consumed him after Margaret's passing. He saw fragments of himself in Mia, that same longing for connection and belonging. "I can't imagine how difficult that must have been," he replied gently. "Did you ever find a place you felt at home?" "Not really," Mia said, shaking her head. "I thought I might find it when I was placed with the Johnsons last year. They had a nice house, and the kids seemed cool. But they only cared about my grades and how I could help around the house. When I failed a test, they turned cold. I was just a live-in tutor, not part of their family. When I realized that, I decided to leave." "And where did you go after that?" Sam asked, genuinely curious. "I bounced around a bit, staying with friends from school, but it never felt right. I was tired of being someone's project or being treated like a charity case. So I figured I'd just leave and find my own way, but I didn't think it would be so hard. I ended up here, soaked and alone." Sam felt a swell of empathy, You deserve to feel safe and loved, Mia. No one should have to go through what you have. Have you thought about going back? I thought about it, she admitted, her voice heavy with uncertainty. But every time I think of going back to the system, I feel like it's just a cycle. I just end up in another home. And what if it's worse? I don't want to keep being tossed around like some unwanted item. Then what are you planning to do? Sam asked, sensing the depth of her turmoil. Mia looked away, staring into the flickering candlelight. I don't know. I was hoping I could figure it out on my own. Maybe I could find a job, get my own place, and finally be free. But it's scary. I have no money, no connections. I'm just lost. As her words hung in the air, Sam felt a surge of protectiveness toward this young girl. He was reminded of the times he had felt similarly lost, searching for a sense of purpose after losing Margaret. Mia, he began carefully, I know you want independence, and I admire that. But running away won't give you the answers you need. You don't have to do this alone. You can lean on people who want to help. Mia looked up, her brow furrowed. But who would want to help me? I'm just a girl with a messed up life. You'd be surprised, Sam replied, his heart swelling with empathy. You're brave for sharing your story. You've already taken the hardest step. If you let people in, you might find support in places you least expect. A tear rolled down Mia's cheek, and she quickly wiped it away, embarrassed. It's just hard to trust anyone after everything. I understand, Sam said gently. Trust takes time, especially when you've been hurt. But I'm here if you want to talk, or if you need help. Mia looked at him, a flicker of hope igniting in her eyes. Why are you being so nice to me? She asked, her voice trembling. Sam sighed, the weight of his own loss heavy on his heart. Because I know what it feels like to be alone. I lost my wife 2 years ago, and I've struggled since then. I see pieces of myself in you, and I want to help, even if it's just to listen. You're not alone in this. Mia's expression softened, and for the first time since arriving, a small smile broke through her tears. Thank you, she whispered, her voice barely audible. In that moment, something shifted between them. The weight of their respective burdens felt a little lighter, as if they had forged a fragile bond in the midst of their pain. The flickering candlelight illuminated their faces, capturing the beginning of an unlikely friendship. As the storm finally began to fade, the darkness outside lifted slightly, symbolizing the glimmers of hope emerging within. But beneath the surface, both Sam and Mia faced their own internal conflicts. Sam had to confront his loneliness and grief, while Mia had to grapple with her deep-rooted fear of abandonment and trust. The journey ahead would not be easy, but together, they were beginning to discover that healing was possible. As the storm finally receded, leaving behind a blanket of glistening, rain-soaked streets and a crisp chill in the air, Sam stood at his kitchen window, staring out at the swirling clouds that had marked the evening. The echoes of thunder were replaced by the gentle patter of raindrops trickling off the roof. Yet, even as nature calmed, Sam felt a storm brewing within himself. The weight of a decision loomed heavily on his heart. Mia, still wrapped in the blanket he had given her, sat on the edge of the couch, her gaze lost in the flickering candlelight. Sam turned to her, sensing her unease. So, what are you thinking? He asked, trying to break the silence. I don't know, she replied quietly, her fingers playing nervously with the hem of the blanket. I just can't keep running forever. Do you have somewhere else to go? Sam asked gently. Mia shook her head. No, not really. I thought maybe I could find a shelter, but I've heard they can be pretty rough. I just don't want to end up back in the system. Sam hesitated, his mind racing. He had only known Mia for a few hours, but he felt an inexplicable connection to her. She reminded him of the joy and laughter his late wife had brought into his life, a stark contrast to the loneliness he had endured since her passing. What if you stayed here for a little while? He suggested, almost unsure of himself. I mean, it's not permanent, but you could have a safe place until you figure things out. Mia looked up, surprised. You mean I could stay here? But I don't want to impose. I don't want to be a burden. You wouldn't be a burden, Sam reassured her, his voice steady. Honestly, it might help me too. I could use some company around here. It gets pretty lonely." He paused, considering his own words. Besides, it's dangerous to be out on the streets, especially for someone your age. Mia studied him, searching for any hint of insincerity, but found only warmth and kindness in his eyes. "Are you sure? I don't want to take advantage of your generosity." "It's not generosity if it's what I want too," Sam replied, a soft smile breaking through. "I'd like the help around the house, and you could use a safe place to stay. It could work out for both of us." After a long pause, Mia nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll give it a try. But I promise I won't overstay my welcome." Sam smiled, relief washing over him. It's settled then. That evening, as they shared a simple dinner of pasta and bread, an unexpected bond began to form. Mia recounted funny stories from her school days, her laughter filling the air and lifting the heavy atmosphere that had clung to Sam's home for so long. Sam, in return, shared tales of his own childhood, recalling fond memories of photography outings he used to take with his wife. "I used to love taking pictures of nature," he said, a distant look in his eyes. "We would spend weekends hiking and capturing the world through our lenses. But after she passed, I just stopped." "Why?" Mia asked, intrigued. "It felt like I was closing a door on our memories," Sam confessed, his voice thick with emotion. "I didn't want to see the world through a lens anymore. It felt too painful." Mia paused, her brow furrowed in thought. "Maybe you just need to find a new perspective. You know, it's like, photography is about seeing beauty even in the darkness. Maybe you could start taking pictures again. It might help you remember the good times without losing the memory of her." Sam considered her words, a flicker of hope igniting within him. "You might be right. I haven't thought of it that way." Over the following days, the atmosphere in the house shifted. Mia started to make herself at home, decorating her corner of the living room with art supplies she had brought with her. Sam found himself looking forward to their shared dinners and conversations, where they would discuss everything from their favorite movies to their dreams for the future. They began to create a routine. Mia would help Sam with household chores, and in return, he would teach her about stability and kindness, showing her the value of trust and companionship. One evening, as they sorted through old boxes of Sam's photography equipment, Mia stumbled upon an old camera. "Can I try it?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Sure, just be careful with it," Sam replied, his heart swelling with pride as he watched her handle the camera with care. Mia turned the lens toward the window, capturing the last rays of sunlight filtering through the trees outside. "This is amazing," she exclaimed, adjusting the focus. "You really loved this, didn't you?" "I did," Sam said, a smile spreading across his face as he watched her enthusiasm. "It was a way for me to express myself and see the world differently." Mia grinned, handing the camera back. "You should definitely start again. It might help you find a little piece of happiness again. And I'd love to learn." Sam's heart ached with the possibility of rekindling that passion. It was a small step, but a significant one. "Okay, how about we start tomorrow? We can go to the park and take some pictures together." As Mia nodded eagerly, Sam felt a warmth envelop him. He hadn't felt this alive in years. However, beneath the surface of their budding friendship lay an unspoken conflict. While Mia was beginning to heal and trust again, she struggled with the fear that this newfound stability might vanish, leaving her alone once more. Sam, on the other hand, faced the challenge of confronting his grief and fear of attachment, afraid of losing another person he cared about. That night, as they settled in for bed, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that their journey together was only just beginning. They were both finding solace in each other's company, yet the shadows of their past lingered just outside the door, threatening to disrupt the fragile peace they had begun to build. As winter deepened, the once vibrant neighborhood was now blanketed in snow, transforming the familiar suburban landscape into a serene, yet isolating wonderland. For Sam and Mia, the beauty of the season was marred by the challenges that lay ahead. While Sam found solace in his photography, using the snowy scenery as his muse, Mia struggled with her own demons, the weight of her past casting long shadows over her present. Mia's first few weeks at the local high school were promising, but as time wore on, the novelty began to fade. Whispers followed her down the hallways, and she could feel the judgment in the eyes of her peers. Each glance reminded her of her troubled past, of being a runaway and of living in the foster system. She often sat alone during lunch, staring at the untouched food on her tray, while others laughed and chatted at nearby tables. It was in those moments that the feelings of unworthiness crept back in, suffocating her spirit. At home, Sam noticed Mia's changing demeanor. She had become quieter, withdrawn. The vibrant energy she had brought into his life was slowly being eclipsed by the shadows of her insecurities. Sam tried to reassure her, encouraging her to open up about her experiences and offering to help with schoolwork. But with each passing day, it seemed like the more he reached out, the further Mia retreated. One chilly afternoon, Sam suggested they take a trip to the nearby park to capture the beauty of the winter landscape. "It'll be good for both of us," he said, trying to rekindle their bond. "We can take some pictures and just enjoy the day." But Mia's response was cold. "I don't want to go out, okay? I don't want to take pictures. It's just not what I need right now." Sam was taken aback. "Mia, I thought you enjoyed photography. What's going on with you?" Her frustration bubbled over. "You wouldn't understand. You don't know what it's like to be judged every single day. I'm just some girl from the foster system. No one wants me there. They look at me like I'm a freak." "Mia," Sam pleaded, trying to calm the storm brewing between them. "I'm here for you. You're not a freak. Don't!" she interrupted, her voice rising. "Don't pretend to understand me. You're just a lonely old man who took me in out of pity. You don't know what I've been through or what it's like to feel so alone." Sam felt the sting of her words. "That's not true. I care about you. I want to help you, but you need to let me in. You're not alone anymore." "Maybe I don't want to be here. Maybe I just want to go back to being on my own," Mia shouted, her anger mingled with desperation. She stormed toward the door, her heart racing. "Where will you go?" Sam's voice cracked, a mix of fear and hurt flooding his words. "You can't just leave. You'll be out there alone again. Please don't do this, Mia." But Mia paused, torn between the urge to escape the suffocating reality of her life and the desire to stay where she felt both comfort and fear. "You don't get it," she cried, tears streaming down her face. "I can't live like this, always feeling like I'm in the way. I need to find my own way." In that moment, Sam felt a surge of emotion rise within him. He too was grappling with the fear of loss, a fear that had haunted him since his wife's passing. He took a deep breath, summoning all his courage. "Mia, I may not understand everything you're feeling, but I do know what it's like to lose someone you love. I know the pain of loneliness. I don't want to lose you too." Her shoulders trembled as she listened, the weight of their shared vulnerabilities hanging in the air. Sam stepped closer, his voice softer now. "You're not a burden. You're not in my way. You've brought light back into my life. Please don't shut me out. I want to help you through this." Mia felt her defenses crumble as she looked into Sam's eyes, seeing the genuine care and concern reflected back at her. In that moment, the walls she had built began to crack. "I'm scared, Sam," she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't know how to be normal. I don't know how to fit in." "Neither do I," Sam confessed, feeling a sense of solidarity. "We're both learning together. You're not alone in this." Mia wiped her tears, the anger dissipating as she felt a glimmer of hope in Sam's words. "I just don't want to be a disappointment." "You could never be a disappointment to me," Sam assured her. "You're doing your best, and that's what matters. We'll figure this out together, step by step." As they stood in that moment of understanding, the tension that had clouded their home began to lift. Mia took a tentative step toward Sam, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. "I'm sorry I yelled. I don't know how to handle everything." "I'm sorry too," Sam replied. "I should have been more understanding. We're both figuring things out." With a small nod, Mia took a seat back on the couch, her expression softening. "Can we just talk about everything?" "Absolutely," Sam said, settling beside her. "Let's start from the beginning." As they began to share their thoughts and fears, the conversation flowed more easily, healing the rifts that had formed between them. Sam listened intently as Mia opened up about her past experiences in the foster system, the feeling of being unwanted, and her struggle to trust. In return, Sam shared his memories of love and loss, detailing how he had coped with his own grief. For the first time in a long while, they both felt a sense of connection, a bond that was no longer defined by their pain, but rather by their willingness to face their struggles together. In the days that followed, Mia's attitude began to shift. She returned to school with renewed determination, refusing to let the judgment of others dictate her self-worth. With Sam's support, she embraced the challenge of fitting in, slowly making friends who saw her for who she truly was. Sam, in turn, began to pick up his camera again. With Mia's encouragement, he started taking pictures of the world around him, capturing the beauty of nature, family, and friendship. Through the lens, he found a new perspective on life, a way to celebrate the moments that mattered most. The journey was far from over, but as they faced their individual challenges and breakthroughs, Sam and Mia discovered the strength of their newfound relationship. Together, they were learning to heal, grow, and embrace the beauty in life, one step at a time. As the last remnants of winter faded, the days grew longer and brighter, signaling a fresh start for Sam and Mia. The snow that had once weighed heavily upon their shoulders began to melt, revealing patches of green grass and flowers pushing through the frost. The changing seasons mirrored the transformation taking place within their hearts. After the tumultuous argument that had threatened to tear them apart, Sam spent the night in deep reflection. He sat by the window, watching the snowfall while contemplating the love and loss that had shaped his life. He realized that he had spent too long allowing grief to dictate his emotions, and it was time to open up about his experiences with Mia. The following morning, Sam approached Mia, who sat at the kitchen table, sketching. "Mia," he said, his voice steady but gentle. "Can we talk?" Mia looked up, her eyes filled with uncertainty, but also a hint of curiosity. "Sure. What's on your mind?" Taking a deep breath, Sam began to share his own battles with grief. "I lost my wife 2 years ago. It was sudden, and I felt hollow. I didn't know how to cope. For a long time, I thought that closing myself off would protect me from the pain. But all it did was create more distance between me and the world." Mia listened intently, her pencil pausing mid-stroke. Sam continued. "I was so focused on my sorrow that I forgot to live. It wasn't until you came into my life that I started to feel again. You reminded me of what it means to care for someone." Mia's heart began to race. Sam's vulnerability resonated with her, revealing that even in his pain, he was capable of understanding her struggles. "I didn't mean to make things harder," she said softly. I felt so lost, like I didn't belong anywhere." "You do belong here, Mia," Sam reassured her, his voice thick with emotion. "You're not just a guest, you're family. I know it might seem unconventional, but I want to take on the responsibility of being your guardian. I want to help you build a future." Tears welled in Mia's eyes as Sam's words sank in. "You really mean that?" she asked, hope creeping into her voice. "Absolutely," he replied, his sincerity unwavering. "You deserve a home, a place where you can feel safe and loved. I know that together we can face whatever comes our way." With each word, the walls around Mia's heart began to crumble. "I'm scared," she admitted. "What if I mess everything up again?" "We all make mistakes, Mia," Sam said, a gentle smile breaking through his somber expression. "What matters is that we learn from them. We'll take this one day at a time." In that moment, Mia felt a surge of gratitude and warmth envelop her. She realized that the fear of failure that had once consumed her was beginning to dissipate. The bond they had formed over the months was rooted in understanding and compassion, allowing her to envision a brighter future. As winter slowly melted away into spring, Sam and Mia took steps to formalize their relationship. They met with a lawyer to discuss guardianship, and through the process, Mia felt a sense of stability she had never known before. Sam's patience and encouragement reassured her that she was not just a burden, but a cherished part of his life. Meanwhile, Sam picked up his camera with renewed passion. He found joy in capturing the blossoming flowers and the laughter of children playing in the park. With Mia by his side, he explored different photography styles, from portraits to landscapes, and began submitting his work to local galleries. The act of creating art helped him channel his grief into something beautiful, a testament to his resilience. Mia, inspired by Sam's renewed enthusiasm, began sketching more frequently and even started to experiment with painting. The walls of their home soon filled with her vibrant artwork, reflecting her journey of self-discovery and healing. Each brushstroke was a celebration of her newfound identity and the hope that had taken root within her. As the months passed, Mia flourished in her new environment. She made friends at school, joined an art club, and even participated in a community exhibition showcasing her artwork. For the first time, she felt a sense of belonging, of being seen for who she truly was, rather than being defined by her past. One evening, as they shared dinner at the table, Mia turned to Sam with a grateful smile. "Thank you for believing in me, Sam. I don't know where I would be without you." "You've done all the hard work," Sam replied, pride shining in his eyes. "You've shown incredible strength and courage. I'm just glad I could be here to support you." As they clinked their glasses in a toast, Mia's heart swelled with warmth. They were no longer just two broken souls. They had become a family, an unconventional but real connection forged through shared experiences and unconditional love. As spring blossomed around them, Mia and Sam stood at the threshold of a new beginning, one filled with promise, hope, and a shared commitment to navigate whatever life threw their way. Together, they embraced the unknown, ready to build a future where love, understanding, and creativity flourished. Their journey was far from over, but with every step they took, they knew they were no longer alone. In each other, they had found not only a friend but a family that would stand by them through thick and thin. As the seasons continued to change, Sam and Mia thrived in their newfound roles as family members. Their home, once filled with the echoes of loss and solitude, became a sanctuary of laughter, creativity, and love. The walls adorned with Mia's artwork reflected not only her growth, but also Sam's journey as a guardian, a mentor, and a father figure. Together, they celebrated milestones, embraced challenges, and built a bond that transcended their past hardships. Sam found joy in mentoring Mia, encouraging her to pursue her dreams, while Mia inspired Sam to embrace life again, reminding him that love could heal even the deepest wounds. They learned to lean on each other, share their burdens, and create a future where hope was not just a distant dream, but a daily reality. As they stood together on the porch, watching the sunset, Mia turned to Sam and said, "You know, I finally feel at home. I didn't think it was possible." Sam smiled, feeling a warmth spread through his heart. Home is not just a place, it's where you feel safe and loved, and we've created that together. The story of Sam and Mia teaches us that healing and connection can emerge from the most unexpected places. No matter how deep our pain may be, love, understanding, and a willingness to support one another can forge bonds that lead to new beginnings. We learn that family is not defined by blood, but by the relationships we cultivate through kindness, compassion, and shared experiences. In embracing our vulnerabilities and reaching out to those in need, we can create a home filled with warmth and hope, where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.